You know the feeling. It's midnight and you're suddenly struck by the urge to completely turn your life around. You plan to wake up early, hit the gym, and finally crush that to-do list. Then morning actually arrives. The alarm goes off and that hyper-motivated planner from last night is completely gone. Instead, you're exhausted, avoiding your tasks and hitting snooze for the third time. Almost immediately, the internal attacks begin. You call yourself lazy. You decide you lack discipline, or that there is simply something broken in how you operate. Now, picture a best friend coming to you with the exact same struggle. You would never look them in the eye and call them lazy or worthless. You tell them to take a breath, regroup, and try again. We hand out empathy to the people around us effortlessly, but the second we fall short, we default to the most brutal judgment possible. This pattern suggests that your struggle with consistency has less to do with willpower and more to do with your self-perception. This toxic internal dialogue convinces you that you simply aren't a person worth the investment. To understand why we do this, we have to look at how our minds actually perceive time. We assume we are one continuous personality, but in reality, you are a collection of shifting versions of yourself, evolving slightly every single day. This causes friction because of an evolutionary glitch called future discounting. Our brains are hardwired for immediate survival, which means they naturally prioritize a guaranteed instant reward over a hypothetical long-term benefit. This diagram shows how that bias skews our logic. On one path, you have a small, immediate payoff, like scrolling on your phone right now in a warm bed. On the other path, far in the distance, is a much larger but dimly lit reward, like feeling rested and productive tomorrow. Your brain instinctively grabs the immediate glow. Neurologically, your brain actually processes tomorrow you as a completely different person. When you think about the version of you that exists in the future, the neural networks that light up are the exact same ones you use to think about a stranger on the street. Expecting rigid discipline from yourself is a losing battle when your biological wiring prevents you from feeling any natural connection to the person who actually gets the reward. When you combine that biological disconnect with the harsh criticism we talked about earlier, the behavior makes perfect sense. Curious, slightly challenging tone. If your brain naturally views your future self as a stranger, why would you endure discomfort or sacrifice for a stranger you actively resent? Think about the sacrifices we gladly make for the people we love. We ensure our pets are fed, help our families out of jams, and we cover for our friends, strictly because we value them. But if you constantly tell yourself that you are lazy and worthless, you strip away that value. You subconsciously withhold basic care from tomorrow's version of you, leaving them to deal with your procrastination and mess. Self-sabotage acts as the inevitable byproduct of this internal hostility. You are essentially withholding support from a person you've learned to treat like an enemy. Real consistency doesn't look like a solo, unbroken marathon of perfection. That is an impossible standard designed to make you fail. Instead, think of your life as a team relay race. The version of you waking up tomorrow is the next runner in line, waiting for you to hand off the baton. This graphic illustrates a much better approach. Notice how the progress bar doesn't have to reach the end all at once. It just moves forward a fraction and locks in at a checkpoint. If you treat your tasks like video game save points, you prevent tomorrow's runner from starting at zero. If you're too exhausted to clean the entire house, just clear one single counter. If a full workout is out of the question, go for a 10-minute walk and save your progress. The next morning, tomorrow's version of you spawns in right at that checkpoint. They get to build on yesterday's momentum instead of cleaning up yesterday's mess. These tiny efforts aren't about forcing yourself to be perfect. They are small, necessary acts of kindness designed to spare your future self from waking up to chaos. Building durable habits requires repairing the core relationship you have with yourself. Try looking at tomorrow you as a younger sibling or a close friend, someone who is entirely reliant on you to set them up for a good day. You are simply handing off the tools they need to succeed, ensuring the person taking over next has a slightly easier path than you did. Replacing that reflexive criticism with self-compassion lowers the barrier to starting. Instead of fighting against your own judgment, you begin to work alongside your future self. Valuing the person you are becoming makes the persistence required for consistency feel less like a grueling grind. It reframes each habit as a manageable, daily act of support for the version of you that follows.